Hello and welcome to this week of Rugby League, and of course one of the biggest weeks in Rugby League with the semi-finals, the major semi-finals. On the Saturday it was the Tigers and Souths. Keep in mind that Souths had only beaten Balmain once in their 10 previous meetings going into this semi-final, and of course they had gone down by decisive margins on the two occasions they'd met them this year. It was to be a very controversial match. Then on Sunday, Parramatta and Canterbury were to fight it out. The loser, of course, going into the final, the winner, a passage straight to the grand final. And for both Parramatta and Canterbury, they wanted another week's rest. And so that's the way it was in Rugby League that was in our program this week. Let's go to the cricket ground. Saturday, the black and golds versus the red and greens. Thanks for joining us and welcome to the NEC Big Game Minor semi-final between Souths and Balmain. And again today, this knockout match in the Winfield Cup comes from Rugby League headquarters, the Sydney Cricket Ground. The Tigers are here after eliminating Manly last Saturday, and the Rabbits through their loss against Canterbury. On the two occasions they've met this season, it's been big wins both times for the Tigers. In fact, in their last 10 meetings, Souths have only won once. Mario Fenech, as the captain, leads a somewhat revamped outfit onto the field. And here's the South Sydney team. Pobji, the brothers Ross, Brett and Mark, Moon, Harrington, DeJura, Coleman, Andrews, Boyle, Davidson, Roberts, Fenech and Johnston. Well, Benny Elias takes out the Tigers, and he must be feeling confident after their gallant win over Manly last weekend, and knowing full well he has a fresher team around him today. Here's the Tigers lineup. Jack, Gardner, Conlon, Schofield, Davidson, Bridge, Gale, Hardwick, Brooks, Sirenen, Rookie of the Year, Roach, Elias and Hemsley. Kevin Roberts is the referee for this NEC knockout big game. Balmain kicking off and running from right to left. And Harrington, one of the new faces in the South Sydney side, brings the ball out to a point just inside the 22 line. David Boyle goes up. He's met by Sirenen and Elias. Coming over the top was Brooks. Played back to Fenech and given to Johnston. Davidson. Elias and Fenech are having a scrap in the back play. Fenech chased Elias a good 10 metres. Bronco DeJura. Elias has charged down, attempt successful, picked up by Pobji. 6 more tackles for Souths. Penalty goes to the Rabbits. And out comes Fenech now. Well, I don't know what he was saying to Elias before kickoff, but the comments from Fenech were obviously directed at that man, Elias. And that little altercation, as I said, blew up. Bad play by Souths, and Davidson goes back. Boyle goes for a shoulder charge. Davidson is there. So is Johnston. Plays 32 metres out from the Souths line. Away from Gale to Hardwick. Hardwick is met there and pulled down by Ian Roberts coming over the top of the Andrews tackle. Gale throws the dummy inside and sends Roach on the outside. Tackled by Boyle and Johnston. No gain in ground for Balmain. Hemsley goes ahead. Makes about 5 metres, little bit more. Roberts and Fenech make the tackle with Davidson, and a penalty goes to Balmain. It's right in front of the uprights. 25 metres out for Bronca for the Balmain side. Conlon from right in front, 25 metres out. His 86 success rate is 62.5. 74 goals this year for Ross Conlon. Hits it. Oh, he's fallen over after striking it. It's no goal. Well, Conlon misses from right in front. No score. The Rabbits and the Tigers. Shades of last weekend when Neil Baker missed 2 from right in front for Souths. There are no better sharpshooters than Baker and Conlon. He might have caught Bakeritis, Ross Conlon. Davidson plays the ball now. On the halfway mark, it goes right for Gale. An ordinary pass from dummy half. Paul Sirenen to play it. Roach. Davidson went in underneath the tackle there with Andrews. There's a Balmain player down. Benny Elias is down. The penalty goes to the Tigers. Touch judge has gone in. Ian Roberts has been called out. Elias is still on the ground. Hasn't moved at this stage. The trainers are out there with the Balmain captain now. Let's have a look at it. Roberts. He went in with a shoulder charge on Elias for mine. There didn't seem to be any illegality in it at all. Scott Gale takes the kick for line. Benny Elias back on his feet. Tap taken by Bridge, and this is Gartner. Met by Boyle. 22-metre line. South end of the ground. Cut out ball, and Paul Sirenen wasn't ready for it. Davidson now is tackled by Balmain. 3 of them, in fact. Brooks, Sirenen and Elias. Fennick out from dummy half is tackled by Hardwick.
I'm sure that South Sydney's approach to this match would be they would just want to hold Balmain in the first half. They'll play it tough, they'll play it hard, and in the second half they'll be looking to put players like Phil Gould onto the field and hope that he can weave some magic and put points on the board.
Out the back from Johnston. Fennick, though, was basically sold a dump. He plays it back and it's swept away to Coleman. Coleman puts the kick in. Straight down to Gary Jack. And here he goes, up to the 40-metre line. Tackled there by the centre, Moon, together with Mark Ross playing in the centres as well. This is Conlon now.
In the past, South Sydney have relied very much on Neil Baker's kicking game to get them downfield. Today, without Baker, they're going to have to find alternatives for that.
A penalty goes to Balmain, so the flow of penalties certainly running for the Tigers. Talking to Phil Gould in the South dressing room about half an hour before the match. He was in civilian clothes. I said, will you go on? He said, only if need be. So obviously his rib injury is still very tender. Conlon will play it just outside the South 22 to the right and from Bridge to Brooks. Brooks, one of Balmain's unsung heroes. He plays it back to Elias, to Hardwick at first receiver, Gale at second, and then Sirenen. But the big man, he has to get back and wind up and come onto it hard. No good from a standing start. Played by Sirenen. Gale gives it away to Roach, and Roach is met by Roberts. Boyle comes in over the top. Andrews was there again. Elias from dummy half. A couple of paces and then to Bridge. Bridge puts the kick over. Here's a chase and a half. Pobji is back there to take it over the dead ball line. A line dropout will restart. Bridge the kicker. The support players probably didn't read the play as well as they could have. Pobji not taking any risks. So Dujura takes the line dropout. As this battle between the Rabbits and the Tigers, a battle for survival goes on at nothing. Jack! Gary Jack is tackled inside the 22 line. Dummy half Kerry Hemsley. Out to Gale. This is Elias. Now Bridge. Away to Schofield. On to Conlon. They've got the numbers! Conlon goes around to Dura. Inside for Bridge. Bridge to Schofield. He puts it down. Well, here's the replay of a real chance for Balmain. Conlon inside to Bridge. Bridge on it went to Schofield. And he couldn't handle, so the scrum goes down 5 metres from the South line. Paddington Hill corner. The sudden death semi. It's been won by the Tigers. Scrum one against the feed. That will certainly boost the confidence of Benny Elias. This is Gary Schofield with the ball. 20 metres out from the South Sydney line. Hardwick. By Boyle and by Roberts. Their names figuring prominently in the tackle counts at the moment. A penalty to Balmain. Souths again inside the 5 and another chance for Conlon. Ross Conlon stabs it, and he's got it. So there's the first points of the knockout semi-final. Balmain leading Souths 2-0. Ray Coleman to work it. Roberts blowing them up.
Bring it up. Bring it up inside. You go down first 13, we're not penalised. Mate, stay up.
Balmain has held the ball for 26 tackles when in possession. South only 9. And again they win against the feed. This is Bridge who's tackled 10 metres out. Well, Souths are having a heck of a scrummaging problem away from Gale to Schofield, and Schofield is held 15 metres out from the South Sydney line. 2-0 in favour of the Tigers, and a great opportunity right here. Gale, a cut-out ball to Conlon. Conlon, a short ball to David Brooks. Brooks is cut down, but it's a forward pass. It's going to be a scrum down on the South Sydney 22. There's the cut-out ball from Gale to Conlon. It's this pass here that Roberts ruled forward, and looking at it on replay, he was spot on. And South Sydney can breathe easy. They've won a scrum. Penalty goes to South Sydney against Balmain for not rolling away from the tackled player. Push from Gale. Conlon goes down. And the line kick has been taken and found at about a metre on the south side of halfway. Players over on the Pat Hill side of the ground. Here's De Jura weaving his way through, finding the halfway line. Long ball out to David Boyle, and now it's away for Harrington. Harrington stands, offers the ball. Fennick takes it. He's 10 metres into Balmain's area. So the Rabbitohs now. Roberts taken high by Hardwick and underneath by David Brooks. On the 32-metre line, right in the middle of the ground, from Coleman to De Jura and on now to Moon. 30 metres out from the line. That would be their 4th tackle. This is Davidson now. Davidson up to the 22 on tackle number 5. South probably will resort to the air. Here's Coleman. The kick is a high one. The runners have got plenty of time. Jack underneath it. Roberts has come down with the ball. It's a try. It's a Rabbitoh try. I believe Ian Roberts is the man who will come out of there with the football. Roberts is the try scorer. South Sydney's youngest lurch. Up they went. Down came Roberts. And Roberts gives the try to Roberts.
A number of players went up for the ball here, but let's have a look at David Boyle, the man next to Craig Coleman from that kick. Was he in front of him or was he not? Well, we're never going to really know, I suppose, but he certainly came inside the 5. Gary Jack went up for the ball as well, but it was Roberts that got it, and he slammed it down under the black dot.
See it again on this replay. Coleman's kick. Oh, Bill, I doubt very much that anybody could argue about Boyle being in front of the kicker. I thought that Jack might have got a bit of crowding as he tried to field the up and under, but even looking at that again, it seems a fair try to Ian Roberts, the 21-year-old electrician, today playing in this sudden death knockout semi-final for South. Bronco De Jura. He's got a success rate of 100%. The man's a fair dinkum genius. Bronco De Jura, he's only had 5 kicks this year for 5 out of 5. And Bronco, take a bow. That's 6 out of 6 for you. And the Rabbits lead by 6 points to 2. Gary Jack. Roberts over the top. Andrews underneath. That's Andrews' 8th for the match. Roberts has made 13. And South's coming up with the ball. Roberts has got it. Lays it back to Andrews. It's gone to David Boyle. He puts a little sidestep into his work, and he's tackled about 32 metres out from the Balmain line.
Unforgivable at this level of football. You should have the ball raked off you in such fashion. Now, Balmain know that South Sydney rake at the ball continually and play the balls. They've done it already in this match, and they allowed it to happen again, and are now under pressure.
Good work by Davidson, away to Coleman, onto Roberts. Roberts goes up towards the 22-metre line and inside it. Roberts will play it now. 18 metres out from the Balmain line. It's gone to Craig Coleman, blindside. This is Lindsay Johnston looking to unload it. Takes the tackle eventually, and he'll play the ball 9 metres from the line. Mario Fennick from dummy half. Gets it to Craig Coleman. Puts in a little kick, and it came off the hand of Gary Bridge. It'll be a South Sydney feed to the scrum 5 metres out. George Pickens, Ron Coote, and John O'Neill sitting together during this match today. 3 mighty Rabbitohs. Same tunnel for Coleman. Great chance here for South. They lead 6-2. They win the scrum. Coleman and the lock forward. Andrews try to put it on. The ball comes loose. Davidson is with it. Boyle, De Jura. Now it's out to Ross. That's Mark Ross. It's gone now to De Jura. He drops the ball. The scrum will go down 10 metres out from the Balmain line. See it again on the NEC replay. De Jura was trying to get the ball over into his left hand so he could throw the pass around the corner, and as he did, he lost possession in the tackle. It was certainly on out to De Jura's right. Gale to work it. This is Balmain's first feed of a scrum, and they win it. Gale held by Coleman, only just. Hardwick gets it to Jack, and Jack takes it away outside the 22.
Gale's a player with plenty of pace. He can really motor. Craig Coleman, conversely, is a player who plays his game with organisation. I'd expect Gale to take him on most scrum situations. Balmain win.
All being played by Davidson. Played back to Benny Elias, and now it's out to Roach, and Roach is taken by Johnston. Looks out the back, finds Benny Elias. Elias goes up to the 40-metre line, looks around himself for support. But Balmain not quite putting it together at this time in the match. A fairly lethargic start by Balmain. Now they get another penalty. A couple of metres on their side of the halfway. Gale finding the line. About 32 metres out. Tap taken by Benny Elias. This is Davidson. He's met by Roberts and Boyle together with Johnston. First tackle for Balmain. Elias works the blind side. Conlon is there. So is Paul Siranen. Here goes the big man, Siranen. He's about 5 metres out from the line. He wasn't running with a great deal of purpose. Conlon, Gale, Hardwick, Bridge. Bridge off the right foot, goes back into the middle. Roberts and Johnston make the tackle. About 7 metres away from the South Sydney line. Played back to Benny Elias. Away to Gale. This is Roach. Roach really high stepping it. And he'll play the ball. Still 8 metres out. That's the 4th tackle. Gary Bridge. Long ball for Conlon. Conlon's got Jack on his outside. Here's Jack going over the fallen players. He got the ball away to Schofield. And Schofield is tackled on 5. Schofield will play the ball back to Benny Elias. Away to the right for Gale. Gale puts the kick back towards the blind side. Was Davidson in front of the kicker? I don't know, but that's Schofield putting his hand on the ball. He's given a try. It's a try scored by Gary Schofield. "12 minutes of time remaining." Schofield, the try scorer.
It looked here like the ball might have came off John Davidson's hands, but a closer examination shows that it doesn't. It was Michael Podgy here who put his hand up, knocked the ball back into the South Sydney in goal, and Schofield fell on it for the try.
Yes, well, of course, Schofield is in front of Scott Gale, but as Bill points out, once South Sydney play at the ball and fail to shut it all down, it's play on, and Schofield, even from in front of the kicker, is onside. He scores the try, and so the scoreline is 6 points all now, Balmain and South. Conlon's kick, he's got it. It's a goal for Conlon, and Balmain leading Souths 8 points to 6 with 11 minutes of time to go in the first half. Jura, he starts. It's going down to Paul Sheridan. Sheridan putting any sidestep into his work. In fact, he flirted with the danger of playing near the sideline on the first tackle, and he's paid an unforgivable penalty. Look at him shaking his head. So you should, Paul. That's not one of your plays. So South win the scrum, and Jura gets inside the attempted tackle from Gary Bridge. Players in the centre of the ground, 25 metres out from the Balmain line. David Boyle reels out of David Brooks's tackle, but Gale makes the tackle successfully. It's gone away to Coleman. Coleman to Jura. Now it's on to the centre three-quarter Mark Ross, and he's pulled down by Benny Elias. Play just outside the 22. Pat Hill stands side of the ground. That's Brett Ross. Hemsley and Roach making the tackle. Coleman, Roberts. Oh dear, he leapt into the tackle.
He pushed that past young Roberts. He'd made his mind up before he let the ball go what he was going to do with it. Look,
here's the replay of it. He only had one thing in his mind: I've got to keep my arms free, and that's exactly what he did. But the execution of it certainly wasn't on a very high rating. It's played by Gary Jack, raked back by Mario Fennick. This is a penalty to South. It should be too. And that's simply because Gary Jack handled the ball in the play-the-ball contest. Watch it. Watch this play-the-ball again.
The Balmain were guilty of letting the ball being raked off them.
Of course, the question is, did Fennick lift the foot prior to the ball being placed on the ground? If he does, then he should be penalised for premature striking. Here it is again. See it again. No, it's all sweet. It's all legal, and Fennick did nothing wrong. Jack was the offender. He was still involved in the play-the-ball contest, and you can't handle it. Practically in front, and he's got it. Another goal for Bronco de Jura, and the scoreline is again level. 8 points all. Souths and Balmain at the cricket ground. Johnston. 8 points all. Roberts. I'd be surprised, to be honest with you, if Piggins does send Gould straight back out at halftime. I think he would leave him there until the situation became fairly desperate. Ball coming down to Bridge as the siren sounds in the background, and there it is at halftime. 8 points all. The Rabbitohs and the Tigers. Halftime comment, Graham Hughes.
Fairly disappointing Balmain outfit in this first 40 minutes. They certainly had all the ball in the first 15 minutes of this first half. Balmain trying to shift the ball wide, but coming up with a lot of mistakes. South Sydney just plugging away, although today they're certainly doing one thing they didn't against Canterbury Bankstown last weekend, and that is that they're backing up the man in possession. I'll be looking for Balmain to spread the ball wide to the wings in the second half. They look a tired bunch, but if there's a bonus for these Tigers, it's the fact that they turn around now with a breeze at their backs.
Phil Gould is on in the familiar number 10 jumper. Lindsay Johnston, the front rower, is off, and Davidson has come forward to prop, and Brett Ross is off, and Neil Baker is on. Now, as far as we're led to believe, Baker will play on the wing, but to me that would be an absolute waste. I would have thought they would have done a shuffle around and put Baker to fullback. There's the first half tackles. Balmain 94, South 89. Hardwick topping it for Balmain, Roberts for South. Baker
kicks off. I wonder who'll kick for Souths for goal. I'd be loath to sack De Jura.
Neil Baker has gone back to the fullback position, Ray, but I think that Baker will be the man that will have the shots for goal, and he's certainly going to be very handy for South Sydney. Should this game be so tight as it is at the moment at 8-all, should it be tight near the finish and the field goals necessary to win the match, well, Baker, you couldn't have a better man on the field than him.
Roach tackled by Fennick and Roberts. Brooks out of the 32. Just an interesting point that I want you to watch for is the first time Souths get the ball and the first chance Balmain get to tackle Phil Gould. I'll be shocked if you don't see them test out that injury of his to the fullest. They should hit him with everything they've got just to check him out, and I'm led to believe that it's still very tender. This is Boyle. So here's their chance coming up now. I'm wondering whether Gould will be first receiver. He is. Here he is now. And Davidson takes it out to the 32. Now it's Mario Fennick. Fennick unable to get rid of it. Dummy half Coleman. Gould back on the blind side. Gets his kick in. Nice looking kick by Gould.
Finding the line. 30 metres out from the Balmain line.
Well, Graham Hughes has now relocated himself up in the member stand. He's with former great Souths lock Ron Coote.
Ron, they seem to really soak up that pressure in the first half, came back strongly.
Yeah, Souths are going great. I think Balmain's put everything to them. I think they've had they haven't had much luck as far as the penalties distribution has been, and I think they've really hung in there and really playing well. Their forwards are really taking it to Balmain. I like the smell of them. I think they look good.
That still leave the way open out wide, and there's been a couple of positional changes, expecting the gaps to come out in the centres.
Well, I think that I don't think so. I think you're talking about Balmain or Souths. I think Souths, the defensive game has been spot on. You know, they haven't had one lapse. I think that everything they've done has been really positive in defence, and they're starting to. What I like about them is the way they're making a few inroads into Balmain's in the forwards. You know, I think they're really they're sort of in top in there.
Okay, thanks, Ron.
Gary Bridge finding the line with a well-judged kick about 15 or 16 metres out from the South Sydney line. You might have also seen a passage of play during that interview where Benny Elias looked to cop a bunch of five smack bang on the point of the nose. He appealed for a penalty, or he appealed to a touch judge to do something, but nothing eventuated.
A penalty to Balmain, a little bit of a flare up, and players pulled out of it. He sent Fennick off. Mario Fennick has been sent off. Well, what a sensation. Following the numerous incidents through the year involving the Souths captain. Roberts, the referee, talks to Ian Roberts, the Souths prop. Look at the faces on the South Sydney officials, Piggins and O'Neill. Well, what the hell happened in there? Well, out of that, all you saw was a punch-up. Conlon from 23 metres out, 10 metres in from touch, strikes it nicely, but it's gone wide and gone over the dead ball line. So the score unchanged at 8 points all. Gould looking for runners. Boyle. Of course, the other thing that people probably haven't thought about yet is that Gould has been sent out there primarily to attack, and there's Balmain getting a shot off on him from David Brooks. And you know, with only 5 forwards there now, he's going to have to put in a hell of a lot of defence that maybe he wasn't bargaining on. A penalty goes to the Rabbits. Well, Baker won't be able to get his hands on this quick enough. That's if he's got the job. They've given it to Bronco. Bronco's given it to Baker.
I think Bronco said that one's just about 10 metres too far for me. No, Baker's changed his mind and elected to kick for touch. Bad formation by Balmain. They were expecting him to kick for goal. There was no one covering the sideline and the ball dribbled into touch.
Well, can you imagine what Baker would have felt like if he had a fail to find touch following the events of this week? He's taking the tap, Baker. Away to Coleman, on to Gould, Gould to Boyle. And Boyle is about 15 metres out from the Balmain line. Played back to Bronco, to Jura, to Coleman, to Gould. Gould is the new captain, I would suggest to you. Some may have thought Coleman was in charge, but I think Gould is the captain. It's gone to him, and on to Coleman, on to Roberts. Roberts is tackled about 12 metres out from the Balmain line. Ball to be played by Ian Roberts, the try scorer. From Gould to Coleman to Davidson. Davidson, oh boy, he almost got it back to Coleman, who goes out from dummy half. And he's tackled now. 8 metres out, 5 tackles gone. Where's Baker? Is he in line for a drop goal? De Jura is. It's gone back to Baker. He puts the kick in the air. It's successful. Neil Baker kicks a drop goal. That's his 20th drop goal for the year. And South Sydney lead by 9 points to 8. That drop goal by Neil Baker, ladies and gentlemen, is a new drop goal or field goal record by a player in a season in Sydney Rugby League. Oh! He's going to give a line drop out to restart. See it again. It came off Coleman. De Jura seemed to be sweet. There's no offside in goal, though, Bill, is there?
Well, the ruling was that Kevin Roberts indicated that
he
the
threw
players
the ball forward.
No, that the ball that Coleman had run dead in goal, but we saw on the replay that that wasn't the case.
So Baker with the line drop out. Replacements have gone on as Schofield goes back with the ball.
It's Paul Bevan out there for Balmain, about to come onto the ball now in 16. Kevin Harwick, the man that's come off.
Benny Elias, Paul Sirenen. Sirenen is only 5 metres, 4 metres out from the line. Away from Bevan to Gale. Roach now. Roach gets it back to Gale. Gale keeps up the wrap out to the right. It's with Russell Gardner. Gardner goes back 6 metres out from the line. Played back to Brooks. Away to Gale. Gale goes across the ground. He finds Bevan. Bevan finds Hemsley. He juggles it and loses it and gets it back again. And a scrum will go down 5 metres out from the South Sydney line.
Balmain have got a very big scrum at any time, but now South Sydney with a man down are going to be underweight. They're going to have to give a mammoth effort here to try and get the ball back from these set scrum positions.
So it's South Sydney with Craig Coleman playing it back to Bronco de Jura, and Gary Bridge makes the tackle. And South leading by 9-8 with 12 men, and their captain and hooker Mario Fenech sent from the field of play.
It'll have to be going through coach George Piggins' mind. He's got a good man in Tony Rampling on the bench. Tony's a player that could fill any positions, and as some of these forwards tire, he could be the first man he'll throw into the game from here.
Roberts plays the ball and then collapses, and Souths get a penalty against Balmain's markers not standing in line. I dare say a hefty percentage of this crowd at the cricket ground are counting the minutes waiting for Mario Fenech to come back. Maybe not aware that he has been sent off.
They'll get the message when the lights go out.
Podgy thrust to the ground by Brooks. Now it's Davidson. Some heavy hitting in there. Hemsley and Brooks on Davidson. 3 straight penalties to South. Away to Dejura. This is Coleman. Coleman gets the ball away. Mark Ross crosses the halfway. Oh, he got around Bridge easily. He's away from Bevan. Jack comes at him, and Jack makes the tackle. Just out from the Balmain 22. Gould. Bronco Dejura. Dejura. Oh, he didn't take a look. He had Harrington on his outside. Played by Dejura. On to Coleman. Out to Baker. Baker puts a kick in. He was felled. But the referee is going to order the line dropout. Touch judge has gone in. Excitement running high. Schofield forcing the ball. Now Baker, a touch judge is in, reporting Gary Jack. Watch for him on this replay. See if he gets involved. Bridge appeared to knock Baker. There's a penalty being given. The penalty's been given where Baker kicked the football. I can't see the significance. Graham, maybe you saw it differently. It was Gary Bridge who hit Baker, but of course the penalty should have been given where the ball landed, so I can't accept that it was that the touch judge was talking about.
Well, I didn't pick anything else up, and for the life of me, Kevin Roberts certainly had it all before him. He tended to let play go on. If it was for the Baker incident, then it's an extremely tough penalty on the Tigers.
And if it was for that incident, Graham, they got the wrong guy.
They certainly did. The right colour hair, but the wrong man.
You're right. Dejura retained as goal kicker. Still 100% record for the season. 12 metres out, and he absolutely splits the black dot. South Sydney leading by 11 points to 8 at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The ball has gone over the dead ball line from the kick-off. It's a line dropout. And here's the kick. They all stand back. Harrington lets it go underneath him, and it goes over the dead ball line, so it's a line dropout. You know,
first rule in football, if you can get the ball on the full, you've got to. The South Sydney players went to sleep there. They let the ball bounce, and that's twice in the last 2 kickoffs that they've now had to restart the game with a line dropout.
I think the first rule in football, Bill, is to learn the rules. And twice I think that they failed to show any knowledge of the rules. So it's played by Gary Jack. Away to Gary Bridge. This is Gale. He cuts out Sirenen and finds Bevan. And he's held there by Moon and Dejura. Gale comes away from dummy half. 6 more tackles. South's apparently struck the ball. And players down on the South 22.
We haven't seen a great deal of Scott Gale in this game. He hasn't cut loose, but South's now down to 12 men. He's got to be thinking about it.
Bevan, a flick pass to Gale. Shut the gate! Shut the gate! Scott Gale has got away again. Too late for South. Gale has bolted in to score. Oh, what a beautiful pass by Paul Bevan. Maybe not out of the manual. This was Roach. Now have a look at this passage of play. Elias got the ball to Bevan, then he throws the flick pass. Watch it. There it goes. And Scott Gale said, thank you very much. And he had players going every which way. And Scott Gale, probably the game's #1 game breaker, goes in to score. And the Tigers are back in front by a point.
This try really came from the line dropout that was forced upon South Sydney when they let the ball find in goal from the kick-off. It went back to Gale. Now, he's probably one of the best broken field runners in the game. The South Sydney line was never organised, and he cut it to shreds.
Scotty Gale, the try scorer. And Ross Conlon, he picks up the icing on the cake. And Balmain lead by 14 points to 11 now. Phil Gould is hooking. As Balmain come out with the ball. Bevan. Gale. Davidson. Davidson! He'll go all the way! Davidson! Yes! Balmain 18! South Sydney 11. Johnny Davidson, the try scorer. Well, a try that you could expect to come playing against a team without a lock forward. Nobody in the back of the scrum. And Davidson goes in to score under the black dot.
Davidson came in to make the extra man, and of course what had to happen from that position was that the South Sydney backs angled in and tried to nip the movement in the bud. Here we see Davidson taking the ball. The South Sydney backs had stayed out. He was able to step back inside, had a free run to the try line, and that's just about got the Tigers home.
So there's the kick by Conlon. He picks up the extras, and Balmain are leading now by 20 points to 11 over South Sydney. Wayne Pearce not smiling, but I guess feeling happiness for the first time today. Sensational news from him that he may well still make the Kangaroo tour. And if he does that, knowing the bloke, don't be surprised if they make the grand final if he sits on the bench for that. But I've got to say what I feel at this point, and I know that Fenwick's off and all the rest of it. Here's the ball handed off by Hemsley to Gary Jack. He swerves, he's inside 32, he's inside 22. Baker makes the tackle. Big run by the Australian fullback, the Dally M fullback. Gary Jack, I must admit, I thought that he ran away from his supports. He was looking for his winger, but you saw that his winger had gone inside, but Gary kept heading towards the touchline. And Balmain win the scrum against the feed. Played back to Gardner, on to Gale, now to Brooks. Brooks goes over the top of them. Schofield scores his second try. It's one-way traffic at the cricket ground. 24 to 11 in favour of the Tigers. And a motionless Frank Stanton. There it was. Brooks got out of the scrum quickly for the second tackle. He went over the top of Bronco de Jura. A handoff to Schofield, and it was shut the gate. Here comes Balmain again. There he is, the try scorer, the Englishman, Gary Schofield, a prolific try scorer. I was in the middle of simply saying, I feel sorry for these 12 South Sydney players out there. They had this match, well, they didn't have the match, but they had a great chance. But with 12, it became a virtual impossibility as Conlon kicks another goal, and Balmain leads South by 26 points to 11. But how must these guys out there be feeling in the red and green jumpers? We had it. We could feel it. It just became so difficult. And I know it sounds like by saying that you're taking something away from Balmain, and I'm sure that many at Balmain would feel the same way. Even though they're going to win this football match, they're going to be remembered as beating 12 men for the major part of the second half. The penalty goes to Balmain against Coleman, the halfback. Rampling had his tuppence worth. Rampling goes over the top, but I think he did more damage to his own players, really. Well, let's analyze this this likelihood as Conlon kicks the goal 28 points to 11 in favour of the Tigers.
Away from Gould onto De Jura, now to Davidson. Gould. Roberts out the back for Andrews. Coleman is Rampling. He cuts him out.
Intercepted by Schofield. Don't worry about chasing. I don't think there's a hope in the world. Thank you, linesman. Thank you, ball boys. Schofield scores his third. It's a trifecta for Schofield. And Frank Stanton smiles. Coleman cuts out Rampling. The ball sits up for Schofield, who was absolutely flying. And away went the little Pommy. One of the nicest guys that I've had the pleasure of meeting in rugby league. Gary Schofield picks up his third try for the match. Well, I look at Bill Anderson and I see a stunned commentator. As Conlon adds the extras, Balmain romping away from the Rabbits. 34 to 11. Myler. Out the back and away to Gale. Gale sees an opening. The ball comes out. It'll come down to Baker. Baker gets the ball away for Harrington. I guess the simplest thing and the fairest thing one can say about South is they didn't deserve this kind of a finish. Not these 12 guys out there at the moment anyway. A courageous, plucky season. Hello, some headbutting from Roach and Gould. In they go. This is, I hope, going to be quenched without any further. Well, Roach and Gould were the two in the middle of it. There were definitely some headbutts. And Rampling has been sent off for 10 minutes. Well, that's the end of Tony Rampling and Kerry Hemsley. It seems he's gone 2 for 10. Right, that's got rid of Hemsley and Rampling. They're 10 minutes in the bin, but on Roberts, he got 10. Right, 10 for Roberts, 10 for Hemsley, 10 for Rampling. And Kevin Roberts is basically saying, well, there's nothing left of this football match. All I can do is pour water over what's happened and save the hide of a few others. But I thought for a moment Steve Roach lacked discipline himself here, because he's got an appointment next weekend. He didn't need to get involved in this with Phil Gould. Now watch it. There goes the headbutt from Roach. No question about it. And that could have seen Big Roachy out of any finals or grand finals. Conlon from 40 metres out has got it. So Balmain go further in front, leading 36 points to 11. Well, Graham, I've said what I've got to say about Roach. I think he let himself into a very foolish act.
Well, after everything that's happened here in this second half, I can't believe that Hemsley, Roberts and Rampling have all found themselves in the bin for 10. And on what everyone, I'm sure, at home has just seen, I can't believe that Steve Roach is still out there. I would have thought that he wasn't joining them in the sin bin. He was about to shake hands with Mario Fenech.
Yes, and for all of that, of course, Fenech, for reasons we don't know exactly yet, was sent off just a couple of minutes into the second half. So Roach is on the ground, about to play the ball, and he glares at Davidson. If Frank Stanton had, well, I nearly said something I was going to regret, but if I was Frank Stanton with the scoreline the way it is and the way Steve Roach is getting himself involved, I'd pull him off. I'd get him out of there. He's been, I think, pretty lucky to stay there as it is. So the ball finds the line. The siren surely must sound in a moment.
There's no question in my mind that Balmain are going to need Steve Roach next weekend, and I think every one of their fans would agree. And of course, South's out there. They've lost the football match, and maybe they're needling these players into these illegalities. I'm not so sure that's not what they're doing. As Gale makes a long run, 8 metres out from the South Sydney line. What an unfortunate end for the Rabbits. As the ball is kicked in the play the ball, Bevan comes up with it for Balmain. What a second half. Controversial to say the very least. Knocked down, and it's a penalty to Balmain. Balmain Secretary Keith Barnes accepting congratulations. Conlon's goal attempt is just wide, and Harrington goes out. And there's the siren. The Tigers have gone to the Sydney Rugby League final. And for them, of course, they've got a fairly good record against Canterbury. It's been said by Canterbury coach Warren Ryan that Balmain are the team that he fears most. 36-11 they won today. Schofield 3 tries. Gale and Davidson tries. Conlon 8 goals. And for Souths, Roberts a try. De Jura 3 goals. And Baker a drop goal. Balmain 36, Souths 11.
Gary, a fairly tight first half. What was the thoughts in the Balmain room?
Well, full credit to South. They played very well. They stuck it right up as the first half, and we had to come back. And you know, we got our game to get the second half to come away with the win.
Also a fairly controversial second 40.
In what way?
Well, when Mario was masked, obviously the turning point.
Mate, I didn't see that. I don't know. I can't comment really. I didn't see it.
Were Balmain fairly tired at half-time?
We weren't playing to our best ability. That's what was wrong with us, but I don't think we were tired.
And now you stay alive for Canterbury and Parramatta.
Beg pardon?
You stay alive for Canterbury or Parramatta.
That's right, next week, so we don't mind who we play.
Well, the major semi-final takes us back to the SCG last Sunday for the clash between two of the favourites, Canterbury, Bankstown and Parramatta. Canterbury went into the game with a few fitness doubts around Peter Kelly. He was out, and also Steve Folkes. And that pack of forwards, well, they were starting to come back to the field a little bit. And Parramatta, the men to stop there, the Parramatta back line. And the key, as always, Peter Sterling.
Thanks for joining us, and welcome to our NEC Big Game Major Semi-Final in the Winfield Cup between Parramatta and Canterbury Bankstown. The Eels come into the game as the 1986 minor premiers, and a win will see them go straight to the grand final. Their team: Delroy at fullback, Chalmers, Cronin, Ella, Groth and Kenny, Sterling, Price, Muggleton, Laurie, Lebeater, Mosley and Bugden. Well, the Bulldogs had a convincing win last weekend over Souths, and if they can topple the Eels, they'll be there to defend their title on September 28th. Here's their team: Curry, Farah, Hagan, Chris Mortimer, O'Brien, Lamb, Steve Mortimer, Langmack, Robinson, Dunn, Peter Johnston in 23, Mark Bugden and Tunks. The referee for this major semi-final is Michael Stone. Parramatta running with a very strong breeze at their backs in the first half. They kicked off, which indicates to me that Canterbury elected to run into the breeze in the first half. And Steve O'Brien is the second Bulldog tackled about 5 metres out from his line. This is Paul Dunn. Muggleton coming over the top with Bugden. 3 tackles gone for Canterbury. Robinson met by Lebeater and Mosley. Now it's Mortimer. And this is Tunks. Tackles Sterling and Price together with Lebeater. And Canterbury have only advanced about 12 metres with those tackles, and here they are trying to clear. As I said, it's a very strong wind. And Groth takes the tackle, eventually 5 metres into Canterbury's area. Now it's Cronin's turn. Tackled by Johnston and Dunn. Mosley. Is Lebeater. Right in the middle of the cricket ground pitch, which is
Very greasy today. Kenny. Villa. Oh, that Canterbury player is hurt. Brett Kenny is indicating the Canterbury player is injured. I think it's O'Brien as Sterling puts the kick in. Curry goes back. And it's going to be a place kick at the middle of the 22 to restart. It was Steve Ella tackled by Steve O'Brien, and O'Brien is still receiving attention.
Just looked like Ella might have unintentionally caught him with a forearm as he was falling in the tackle, and might have hit O'Brien somewhere around the throat region.
Dunn and Mortimer combining to offload to Chris Mortimer, but the original pass came from Johnston. It was a good pass from him too. Peter. Langmack 10 metres on his side of the halfway. Canterbury still playing with 12. Dunn and Parramatta tackling in 3s and 4s. Steve Mortimer, his kick is a good one. Bounces about a metre inside the touchline and then kicks over. So a scrum will go down about 8 metres on Parramatta's side of the halfway. O'Brien back on his feet. As the Lowers, Souths squeaked home 8-7 against West, and Parramatta 11, Easts 0. This is Tony Chalmers, who's tackled by Paul Langmack. And O'Brien is not well. He's being assisted by Larry Britton, the trainer. I'm pretty sure Canterbury will get him out of there. He's wobbling around as the ball goes away to Cronin. The ball went forward, I thought, to Laurie, but he's allowed to go, and he's tackled 8 metres on his own side of the halfway. Langmack calling for numbers over on the right as Parramatta go to the left, and it's Lee Beater who gets through Robinson, but coming over the top was Tunks was done. And play again very close to the centre of the ground as Bugden reaches the halfway line, and 5 tackles are gone, and Sterling will use this breeze. It's gone to the right to Muggleton, the optional kicker, and he's plugged it down in behind O'Brien's wing. O'Brien is with it now. Chalmers makes the tackle. O'Brien playing the ball 12 metres out from his own line. This is Curry. An important game, to say the very least. The winner going straight to the grand final with a week's rest, and the loser to play Balmain. And as far as Canterbury's concerned, I guess they wouldn't want an appointment with the Tigers next Sunday. Penalty goes to Canterbury. Parramatta inside the 5. So down on their own 22, Canterbury will clear. 4.5 minutes of time gone first half. Canterbury's job is quite a simple one, with the breeze into their teeth, is just to hang in there and turn around with the gale at their back in the second half. Away to Mortimer and on to Lamb, and now it's to Hagan playing in the centres this afternoon.
What's probably influenced their decision is they'd be expecting Parramatta to be a little short of match fitness, and so if the Bulldogs can turn around with the breeze at their back, use a big kicking game, that's going to tire Parramatta even further in the second half.
Here's Robinson crossing the halfway line. Tackler was Cronin. Price came over the top. Away now to Steve Mortimer, and it's gone on to Terry Lamb, but he's tackled out there by John Muggleton. Mosley coming in as well. And another penalty going to Canterbury. It's against Parramatta for stealing the ball. This was the tackle. 3 of them involved. The tackle well and truly affected when Lee Beater went in there and snatched the ball away from the Canterbury player. Ball done, getting some attention. Back down the ground as we see the tap taken by Mark Bugden. Brother against brother today. Steve Mortimer, and it's his brother Chris. Paul Dunn back on his feet as Terry Lamb is tackled by Ray Price and Peter Sterling. Long ball out to Paul Langmack, and Langmack is put down by Mosley. 32 metres from the Parramatta line. Steve Mortimer tackled by Mosley, got it away to Langmack. Langmack is held by Price and Lee Beater. And 5 tackles have gone now for Canterbury. Steve Mortimer. Decide to work that blind side, and it's been knocked on by Canterbury, so it'll be a scrum with a Parramatta feed about 30 metres out. Price. And a penalty to Parramatta. I can tell you that Parramatta are not incensed, but they're quite perturbed by Canterbury's as the ball swings to the right to Chalmers. Canterbury have made it clear that they're not real happy with Kevin Roberts, and Parramatta are continually complaining that they seem to be getting their way. As we see Michael Stone with the whistle again today. Here's Bugden. Oh, Dunn went in for a shoulder charge on the big fellow.
It's probably not the best way to go about tackling Jeff Bugden.
Well, he looks all right, so does Dunn, as it goes to Kenny, and it's out with Michael Croner now, who's wrapped up by Terry Lamb. Sterling. The torpedo punt from Sterling should find touch, and does, about 15 metres out from the Canterbury line. Well, that got a lot of wind assistance, that kick. It was just a simple little torpedo punt. Curry sweeping it to Lamb, and Lamb is cut down by Delroy. And Steve Mortimer now out to the 22 and tackled by Muggleton. Price over the top of him. And now it's done. Canterbury with 3 tackles have taken play to the 30-metre point. As Tunks stands, gets it back to Bugden. Bugden takes the tackle of Laurie. Steve Mortimer. Little chip ahead by Mortimer, and he regathers possession. That's 5 gone. Lamb sweeps it away to Langmack. Langmack back inside then and finds Johnston. That's the turnover. Copybook tackle by Price. 10 metres his side of the halfway. A quick play the ball by Parramatta.
And for the second time in this game, Canterbury on the 6th tackle elected, rather than kick into this strong breeze, they spread the ball out looking for their wingers.
Now it's Sterling. Kenny. Kenny is, I thought for a moment, able to get it away to Laurie. He opted out of it. And a penalty goes to Parramatta now. It's against Canterbury for not rolling away from the tackle play. Well, Graham, I've referred to this breeze in one phrase as being gale force, and just as I say that, the flag seemed to hang limply.
Well, it is gusting, but when it does, it is really gale force. It's an incredible decision by Canterbury to run into this breeze. One can only think that they are basing it on what Bill said, that they're hoping that Parramatta certainly start to struggle in the second 40 minutes. It's a very, very confident one, though, if that's exactly the way Canterbury have approached it. But Parramatta, well, points are what they're after. A great opportunity now. It's got to be worth at least 8 points.
I think they're on the 3rd tackle as they sweep the ball back to the blind side for Price, and Price is inside the 10-metre line. I'm just watching Michael Stone's hand. That's the 4th tackle as Mosley swings it right for Sterling. He puts in the little kick. Laurie's going hard with Curry, and Curry rakes it over the dead ball line. So it's a line drop out to restart for Canterbury. We'll get a good idea of how strong this breeze is now with the drop kick from Terry Lamb. He can drop kick from point to point, normally about 50. And he's kept it on a pretty low trajectory, but you could almost see the wind blowing it back. And look at Price. He's been tackled only 15 metres from the Canterbury line. Tunks was one tackler, Mark Bugden the other, and Tunks gave Price a real facial as we find Mosley tackled 10 metres out from the line now.
What should happen from here? Parramatta are in great field position, and really Canterbury shouldn't be able to get out of there unless Parramatta come up with a mistake. It should be a case of holding it for 5, grab a kick in goal and get back another line drop out.
Mosley now sweeps it to Sterling. Sterling down.
In fact, Mortimer said in an interview on another channel this morning, which I took great interest in, he said the trouble with Kenny is if you blink, if you simply blink, He's gone, and that's exactly what happened there.
Two of the best 5'8" in the world, Terry Lamb and Brett Kenny, and here they are head-to-head. The ball goes out to Kenny, and he throws in the big step off the right foot. Too much pace for the cover defence, and plunges in for the try.
Brett Kenny, one of the game's most gifted players. A car salesman these days, out of Camden. And he's been an Australian rep. He was voted the most outstanding representative player for 1986 at the Dally M's on Thursday night. Well, this man has seen all the records flowing under his rugby league bridges. Michael Cronin. If you think Brett Kenny's done it all, well, he's only really the tip of the iceberg when you look at Cronin's readouts. He took out the award on Thursday for the service to the game. And I'm sure anybody watching this game, including Canterbury supporters, would agree that nobody more rightly nor richly deserves it than Michael Cronin. 6 metres in from touch, 22 metres out. Breeze with him. Gets it away all right. Looks okay. They look at it, the touch judges. It's a goal for Michael Cronin. 6 points to 0 in favour of the Eels over the Bulldogs at the cricket ground. Right, let's take you to the Canterbury dressing room, and in there, Steve Folkes with Graham Hughes.
Steve, ankle injury problems. It didn't appear as though that came from last week's game. What's the story there?
No, it's pretty frustrating. Brian come through very well last week, but yesterday at training yesterday morning, I stepped in a bit of a pothole while training, and then at the end we have a barbecue after training, and I wasn't watching where I was going, and I fell up the steps.
Tough first half coming up here, and I thought an incredible season to run into a near gale force wind out there.
Yeah, I didn't discuss it with Steve or Ryan. I'm not sure what the idea is. I guess they're hoping to hold Parramatta out and then come home with a bit of a wet sail.
Ray, we might come back after this play.
All right, Steve, this is Graham. This is Leabeater playing it only on their second tackle. Away to Sterling, the running wall, the kick in behind. Ella! It's a try for Parramatta's Steve Ella. Well, where the hell he came from, Steve Ella, I'm not sure. It was a running wall from Parramatta, a player going in towards the play the ball, and then the little kick by Sterling, and Ella goes across and grounds it. I'm not sure with what part of the body, but that doesn't really matter. It was forced with downward pressure.
One of the ways to beat a fast-moving defence is to kick the ball in behind them. Sterling read it. Ella came from nowhere. There was nothing Curry could have done about that, and he dropped on the ball for the try.
There it is again, the little kick by Sterling. Players running every which way, and Steve Ella picks up the try. Came from the same junior club as Brett Kenny, as far as memory serves me. And Mick Cronin from right in front of the uprights gets the extras, and Parramatta are leading Canterbury by 12 points to 0. Canterbury get it going again, and Ray Price, oh gee, that was very how's your father from Parramatta. Eventually Father Price cleaned it up. Ball played just outside the 22 line. Away to Sterling and now Leabeater, and you've seen it all before, and you're about to see it again. Leabeater and Bugden and those players will take this ball out, and then Sterling will position himself for the kick. But look at the big refrigerator. He's running like a man inspired. He said in a press interview he loves playing against the little brother. In fact, he'd been lacing his drinks with Epsom salts, apparently.
The game's only been going now for, 24 minutes, but you wouldn't have to be too wise to work out that if Parramatta are the next scorers in this game, they're going to win it. Canterbury have got to be the side to put next points on the board.
$12-0 is the score right now. Of course, when Graham was talking to Steve Folkes a few seconds ago, it was 6-0. So let's go back to Graham with Steve, and of course a different probably complexion comes over the interview.
Steve, you said that you felt the side would have to hang on to that 6 points and come back with a breeze of their backs. Is 12 too many?
It's more than we'd like, I'm sure, but I haven't been outside for a while, but it looks fairly strong from in here. And,
chance here for Canterbury. They develop the numbers. Terry Lamb. That's Delroy. Delroy tackled by Mortimer. I haven't seen Steve Mortimer run like this since he's come back.
Now it's Brett Kenny, one of the 2 try scorers. Kenny 1, Ella 1.
What that suggests to us, Ray, is that if Mortimer's doing the work of 2 men, which it looks like he is, there must be someone that's not pulling their weight.
Now it's Lee Beater. These 2 blokes, you know, you can... Every rugby league discussion you get into about Lee Beater and Bugden, the people will eventually get round to saying, yeah, but how long can they go for? And that's a very, very worthwhile question. But at the moment, while Lee Beater and Bugden are running strongly and going forward, they build this enormous foundation for Parramatta to build on. O'Brien, tackled by Chalmers. Took a hard hit, Steve O'Brien, in the early minutes of the game. Ball stretched away now, and Ray Price goes up quickly on Michael Hagan. He's a talented player, Mike Hagan. On that occasion, though, he got the ball far too... Oh, the ball has come out loose, and Terry Lamb... Oh, hang on. Bugden's picked up some loose ball. Tried to get it away, but Steve Mortimer was there to save the day. So Steve Mortimer's unable to continue. Robinson. Hagan, tackled by Sterling.
You see, here you're going to have an example of the dilemma that Canterbury have got. They elected to run into the breeze, but now Parramatta have got them pinned. And unless it's a Parramatta mistake, Canterbury can't get out of there, can they? They can't kick the ball too far. Parramatta should virtually be able to run it back to where Canterbury kicked it from.
Steve Mortimer. Oh, knocked down by Muggleton, recaptured by Parramatta.
There's the mistake. Parramatta have got the ball, and all the pressure's now back on.
And here's Mosley throwing the dummy. He's 8 metres out from the Canterbury line. Playing the ball back, and there's 6 more back for them as it's spread to Ella. Ella saw an opening. It closed pretty quickly. He takes the tackle from Langmack and Tunks. Ray Price is the dummy half. That's the first tackle. Away to Sterling, on to Delroy. Lamb read the play. He came channeling in, and Delroy is tackled 12 metres away from the Canterbury line. Should Parramatta score here? Well, of course, Canterbury, they'd be in dire straits, to say the very least, if they're not already. The dummy half is Muggleton. It's gone on to Cronin. The run around, and the old man decides to go himself. Lee Beaters with the ball now. Pops it out the back for Ray Price. On to Sterling. Sterling zips inside. The ball goes away to Ella. If he can pass it, they'll score. Dunn comes at Chalmers. Chalmers, he's too good. Chalmers too fast for the big men. Parramatta scores again in a corner that Neville Glover well remembers in the grand final many years ago. At Parramatta, it's affectionately known as Neville's corner, but today it's presented them with 2 tries, one for Kenny and one for Glover. Well, Michael Cronin decided to use the option that his coach has given him. Instead of standing there like the Rock of Gibraltar, he took a couple of paces. Lee Beater's work was incredibly good. It went away to Peter Sterling. He got inside, I think, Terry Lamb, and then it went very quickly out from Delroy to Ella, and then Chalmers had too much pace. Dunn came across. He tried hard, Paul Dunn. Curry couldn't get there in time, and Chalmers picks up Parramatta's 3rd try.
Well, Canterbury have diced with danger by running into the breeze, and you can virtually write them off in this match, but it's been bad tackling that's contributed to it also. They missed tackle after tackle in that set of 6, and finally Parramatta just went through and scored.
Cronin with an acute angle kick. Lets it go, but it's coming away wide. In fact, an awful kick from Cronin, and Parramatta lead Canterbury by 16 points to 0. Now it's away to Delroy. Let's take a match comment from Graham Hughes, who's returned now to the sidelines.
You're more or less picking my brains at this stage. Canterbury, with 10 minutes left on the clock now in this first half, badly need a try. A converted try will see them back into the game, at least give them an opportunity to still win this semi-final, especially with that guard at their backs. It remains, though, an incredible decision to run into the breeze.
Sterling. Kick going down nicely for Curry, and Curry comes outside the 32 line. Sterling leads the procession down the ground. And there they are, coming up, the runners from behind Sterling, Price and Ella. So it's back to O'Brien, who swings it to Steve Mortimer. Now it's to Michael Hagan. This is Andrew Farrer, cut down by Kenny. Beautiful tackle by the 5'8". Steve Mortimer calls on Johnston to go ahead. And for the limited amount of time Canterbury have had the ball in attack, they have highlighted a couple of times the Parramatta forwards. They're not going up to meet the attack. Sterling is tackled now. He might have got a kick where it hurts most. He might have. The first man to inquire about his health is Steve Mortimer, and that's something that, well, it does my old heart a lot of good to see it happen in rugby league. Steve knew where he caught him. Have a look at that. That's sportsmanship. As the ball comes, well, Mosley slipped in this very muddy cricket pitch centre. They covered it last night too. They must have had rain here during the day. Warwick Roberts assures me they did. Well, quite obviously they watered it this morning, did they? Thank you. Now it's going to be a scrum. All the players have been complaining about the cricket pitch being as hard as granite, so they put water on it, and
Great push.
this happens. A big push by Parramatta to win it against the feed. Played by Kenny, and here's Price deciding to go for a run, and that's a good hard tackle by Langmack. He plays the ball back to Mosley. They go blindside for Laurie. And a penalty to Parramatta against Paul Dunn.
Here we are again with this situation. Parramatta will now find touch within the Canterbury Bankstown quarter, and if Parramatta don't make a mistake, Canterbury will never get out into this wind.
Just looking at Sterling. He's still not 100% Sterling. He's still in a bit of pain. As the ball goes to Lebeater. Both props have done their job. They haven't had much defence to do, but in attack they've been there and taken it up and made a lot of ground. Here's the next of them. The bookends. Now they go blindside from Muggleton. Kenny's with him. The kick came off a Canterbury player. Muggleton recaptures the ball. So the ball has gone from Mosley to Sterling and now to Laurie. Laurie gets it out the back, and it's come down to Canterbury. So referee Stone says play on. Done. (16-0) in favour of Parramatta. Andrew Farrer. Tackled by Muggleton, Lebeater and Bugden. Away for Steve Mortimer, and now it's with Robinson. Robinson intercepted by Kenny. Kenny, zip, and oh, I thought for a moment he was in again.
He must have 10-foot arms, Brett Kenny.
Great tackle by Chris Mortimer. Put it down as a try saver from Chris Mortimer. This is Michael Cronin. Held there again by Chris Mortimer. Well, surely somebody wasn't doing their job there. Mortimer has pulled off a try saver and then was required to stop Cronin 15 metres away. Sterling to Lebeater. Lebeater's tackled 10 metres away from the Canterbury line. To the left for Sterling. Sterling to Laurie. Laurie steps. He gets away from Dunn, and he's tackled about 8 metres out from the line.
Canterbury just missing far too much defence.
That's the fourth tackle gone. As it goes to Sterling, it came off a Canterbury player. It went to Price. Price knocks on. Comes back to Cronin. It'll be a scrum.
Chip ahead by Sterling. Price had it for a couple of strides, but then lost it. Canterbury coming up with the scrum, and it's Michael Hagan tackled by Price and also by Laurie. And away they go to the left now for Dunn to reach the 22-metre line. There's the scrums and penalties. 4-2 to Parramatta, with one against the head, and the penalties 4-2 also to Parramatta. Enormous rivalry between these two clubs. They've shared the premiership since the turn of the decade as Growth tackles Farrer. But there's been some sledging, probably more off the field than on the field, with these two clubs. Their secretaries have had their little dabble in it, as too has Ray Price. Steve Mortimer throws the pass willy-nilly, and Canterbury fortunately come up with it. Knocked on by Muggleton. It'll be a scrum just outside the Canterbury 22 line. One by Canterbury, picked up by the lock. Langmack, a flick pass inside for Farrer. Farrer's tackled by Growth and Sterling, and also Muggleton, and plays it outside the 32. Away goes Mortimer. He gets the ball off to Dunn. Dunn is tackled by Laurie, and they're only about 5 metres away from the halfway line. The ball played back, and Langmack sweeps it across, and it's Hagan who couldn't take it cleanly. It was a bad pass, but Hagan's still able to make ground. Now it's Terry Lamb. Now it's gone on to Curry. I don't think that. Yes, they will. Chalmers picked him up, and Curry is hurt.
Curry's torn a hamstring there. Just as he went down, he got hit from behind by Chalmers. He buckled back in the tackle, and I'm sure he's done a hammy.
There's no question that Curry is hurt. You'll see him, see his face. It was wrinkled with agony as the hamstring appeared to go. I thought for a moment it was the way that Curry fell on him, but it seems that it happened a split second before the tackle.
Well, Canterbury have had a bad record with fullbacks. They firstly lost Michael Potter. They then lost Phil Sigsworth. Curry was the third man to come in. If they lose him, they haven't got much to back him up.
So 3 3/4 minutes of time remaining, and Canterbury desperate for points before half-time. Langmack holding it back and working it to Steve Mortimer. Inside goes Farrer. Farrer's tackled 3 metres out from the line.
Curry's gone in the back play. They'll have to replace him.
Terry Lamb is the dummy half. The ball goes wide for Langmack. He sweeps it back for Robinson, but they've lost ground in that play. 5 tackles gone. They may use the air here, although it's on very wide to the left. The pass comes down. Oh boy, who was that? Kinney on Peter Johnston. Have a look at it again on the slow-mo. There's Johnston, and then Kinney hit him and drove him to the ground. So the scrum goes down 20 metres out from the Parramatta line. Fed and won by the Eels, and Sterling says there's a gap here, I'll go myself. He finds Ella out wide. They beat O'Brien. Now it's Chalmers. Chalmers is tackled by Paul Langmack. Good work by Langmack to get across there. Curry was in at lock in that scrum, incidentally, as we find Delroy tackled.
Well, Canterbury would have been a bit worried about if Parramatta had kicked the ball. Curry wouldn't have had the pace to get back and retrieve it.
Mosley now is tackled 8 metres his side of the halfway as Sigsworth comes out to the Sydney Cricket Ground. Ahead goes Leabeater, tackled originally by Johnston and secondly by Robinson. Played back to Mosley and given off to Muggleton. Muggleton stabs the kick in. I think it's going to find it deep inside the 22. It does. In fact, only about 12 metres out from the Canterbury Bankstown line with 2 minutes of time to go. Curry comes off. Sigsworth comes on in 15. Canterbury coming out with the scrum, and Sigsworth is tackled inside the 22. Well, I think I've made myself pretty clear on the Phil Sigsworth-Tony Curry duel. Curry's a good player, but in my opinion, he's no better than Sigsworth. Muggleton, Cronin, Kenny, Ella, Gross. Up on the 22 line, Canterbury's end of the ground. Ella going across the field now. To put it another way, I don't think Canterbury will lose anything with having Phil Sigsworth out there in the place of Tony Curry. 10th season in grade for Phil Sigsworth as Mosley gets a pass out the back for Sterling. Sterling away for Laurie. Laurie taken by Robinson and Bugden, with the timepiece showing 61 seconds to go as it comes away to Sterling, then on to Kenny. Kenny throws the long ball, intercepted by Hagan. Played ahead by Hagan now. Back for Andrew Farrer. Ray Price is injured. Through Mortimer. Long ball out to Lamb. Lamb throws the dummy, but he's cut down by Kenny. Played back for Steve Mortimer to give to Paul Dunn, and Dunn floats a pass off for Mortimer, then to Hagan. Hagan decides to go himself. Gets a pass inside for Steve Mortimer, and Mortimer is crashed to the ground by Delroy.
To the left it goes to Peter Tunks, and again Delroy pulls off the tackle. 5 gone, and again Delroy pulls off the tackle. It's gone to Sigsworth now, and he's tackled just outside the 22 line. So with only seconds to go, don't be surprised if Parramatta use the old Mitchell Cox-Dale Shearer ploy. Sigsworth was up in the line. He's fallen back now. But there's the siren. They didn't have any time anyway. And at half-time, Parramatta leading Canterbury with 3 tries by 16 points to 0. Let's take you to the sidelines. Here's Graham Hughes.
Every rugby league supporter in this town of Sydney should certainly be asking themselves the questions: why would Canterbury Bankstown refuse the use of that guard at their backs in the first 40 minutes? We've already said it, an absolutely incredible decision by Canterbury Bankstown. A great opportunity now for Parramatta to go right through to the grand final. But John Mooney won't be letting these Eels think that they can certainly get home. He won't be riding off Canterbury Bankstown. Steve Mortimer is the only Bulldog looking very, very sharp. I'll be expecting them to come home pretty strong with that breeze. 16 points might be just a little bit too much.
A change has been made to the Canterbury team. Let's take you to the sidelines. Graham Hughes.
That change late in the first half. Phil Sigsworth out there in 15, replacing Tony Curry, and also Sandy Campbell on the sideline for Steve O'Brien.
Thank you, Graham. Canterbury now running with the breeze for the duration of the second 40 minutes. And it's Ray Price who's tackled. There's, in fact, the tackle counts. Canterbury 128 required, Parramatta 114. Tunks and Price, the 2 top tacklers. And look at Sterling on 16. And that's a part of his game that people tend to forget about. And certainly, you're using up plenty of energy making 16 tackles. There's not much left for attack, but he seems to find energy to do that too. There he is kicking, keeping it on a fairly low trajectory as it goes down to Phil Sigsworth. And now it's Canterbury's turn to wheel and deal. And Sigsworth is tackled by Sterling and Kenny. Ball played back to Farrer, away to Langmack, and now it's Farrer again. And he's pulled down and tackled. Well, John Mooney would have had a pretty simple chat to Parramatta at half-time, wouldn't he, Bill Anderson?
Not a lot to say when you've got the ball, hold it for 6 tackles and control it as well as you can, and then tackle for 6 tackles. I think defence is going to be the key for the Eels.
Well, the ball seemed to come loose from Peter Johnston. Price claimed it, and referee Stone rushed in and declared that the ball was lost in the tackle. Canterbury win the scrum. Sigsworth goes to the blind side, runs into Sterling, and Sterling together there with Delroy make the tackle. They're on the halfway line now as Langmack goes ahead. It's pulled down around the bootlaces by Muggleton. Bugden getting in for some of the action. Away to the left for Mortimer and on to Lamb, and he's over the halfway and finds Chris Mortimer. This is Sandy Campbell. Campbell taken by Chalmers and also by Price. Play is down on the Parramatta 32 line. Robinson goes ahead. He gets a ball back for Chris Mortimer. Chris Mortimer has lost the ball, and Parramatta's Bugden comes up with it. Mosley wants to stretch it quickly. It's gone to Sterling, away to Kenny. Kenny is taken by Hagan, who came up quickly to turn Kenny back inside. Kenny plays it inside the 22. This is Delroy. You see probably plenty of dummy half running from Parramatta into the breeze. That would be, I would imagine, a hand-me-down from Jack Gibson to John Mooney.
And probably plenty of running down the blind side on the 6th tackle. I don't think they'll kick the ball all of the time. They will on occasions to keep the Canterbury defence back and stop them coming up. On other occasions, they'll be looking to run it.
Mosley's pass away to Laurie. This is Mark Laurie, 15 metres on his own side of the halfway. 5 tackles gone. As Muggleton puts the kick in, he hooked it, and it's going down very deep into Canterbury's area, and it's Sigsworth who's going to take it back past the 10-metre line. Mosley pursues, makes the tackle with Gross, and Sigsworth will play it. Away now for Hagan, and then to Steve Mortimer. This is Campbell. Campbell taken by Bugden and Muggleton. Steve Mortimer out from dummy half, and Big Bugden makes the chase and makes the tackle with Mosley. Play back to Bugden, and now it's Tunks, and Tunks gets a one-hander to Langmack. Langmack makes ground. 6 more tackles, says Michael Stone. And the ball is played by Paul Langmack. Hagan from dummy half looks to unload. He can't. He'll play at 10 metres on his side of the halfway. Away now for Steve Mortimer. Long ball for Sigsworth, who knocks on. Well, of course, you might have the gale at your back in the second half, but when you're chasing 16 points and playing catch-ups, things just seem to be done with a little bit more fuss than normal, and mistakes come out of it. Here's Kenny slipping his way through, and Langmack just missed him, but Sigsworth tied it up. The ball played, and it's with Delroy, who's tackled by Langmack. Mosley, as the pundits continue to tell us that Elias and Simmons will make the tour, and that Cochrane might, along with Konescu. They all tend to overlook this young man Mosley, who's had an enormous season. Here he is unloading blindside for Sterling, and now it's with the Chalmers. Chalmers on the 22 to Muggleton. Muggleton takes on Bugden, who makes the tackle, and it's 5 gone for Parramatta. Sterling will probably use the kick. Oh, Muggleton. Well, he's appealing that Mortimer actually struck the ball over the touchline.
The ball did hit Mortimer's leg, but I don't know that he played at it.
Sterling will feed. One by Parramatta. Sterling tries to sneak up the open side of the scrum base. Mosley's there for dummy half work. They're 10 metres out. If they score now, Parramatta, this semi-final is over.
Well, they've already done something that Canterbury couldn't do in the first half of the win, and that's get the ball up this end of the field.
Here's Ray Price, 3 metres out from the line. That is, well, Price can't play on. Just looking at Paul Langmack as he's looking at Ray Price getting attention. As Langmack standing over a man who he's referred to as his hero.
32,499.
So Price appears as though he's ready to play the ball now. And it's with Muggleton, and Laurie! Easy! So easy! Now let me have a look and see how Ray Price is. Well, he's receiving attention from Terry Lebedo and the trainer. But Mark Laurie has scored the try after a huge delay. It went simply to Muggleton, and Laurie went charging into the gap. And Parramatta leading by 20 points to 0.
Some beautiful late adjustment here by Parramatta. They waited until the ball was played, and then Laurie and Delroy faded back to the blind side. That gave them the extras, and Laurie charged over.
Well, there he is, one of the Laurie brothers, the brother of Rocky Laurie, who won the Dally M's in their inaugural year. But I think there's about 7 brothers, and all of them are talented footballers. This will require a hell of a kick from Cronin. He's a metre in from touch, and he's 21 metres out. He'll aim this at the right-hand upright. No, it hasn't got the length, and drops away to the left, and so no adjustment necessary to the score. 20 points to 0 in favour of Parramatta over Canterbury. Mortimer, Hagan. Back inside for Mortimer. Tackled by Mosley and Lebedo. Mark Bugden for one of his dummy half runs. Well, Mark is cramped. I'm just looking at his brother Jeff to see if he's showing any sympathy. He's down on his haunches, Big Jeff. He's getting some oxygen back in the tanks. No, Big Jeff went for the water bottle. That's Mortimer. Robinson. He's reading a story about Robbo and what he's trying to do for his late friend's wife and family. And by Jove, it's a different side of Jeff Robinson that everybody should read about. He's got a big heart of gold sitting inside that HFC jumper. Good on you, Robbo.
Blindside for Steve Mortimer over the halfway. Terry Lamb, they stack the blindside. Lamb still going. Langmax with him. He puts the kick in. Kenny, it's no knock on Kenny. I think you'll find it hit him right in the middle of the stomach. And you can forget about it. As I said yesterday, with Gary Schofield, thank you linesman, thank you ball boys. Brett Kenny scores his second try at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Something that has become habitual with Brett Kenny. Well, you see the kick by Terry Lamb. I'm almost sure it hit him in the stomach. And Kenny went bingo and took off. And of course, when he sees open space, well, it's a matter of forgetting about it because he's just too fast. There he is, the try scorer, Brett Kenny. 2 tries in the 3 grand finals that Parramatta won in 81, 82, 83. In fact, he's continued to keep scoring these 2 tries at the cricket ground. It's almost become monotonous. Now, Price is still getting attention from Graham Richards, who's called the team over. Unsuccessful from Cronin. 24 points to 0 in favour of Parramatta. Price is off. Who's going on? Graham, is it Jerd or who? Wynn or what?
Steve Sharp coming out the gates right now.
Kenny now working to the blind. By Steve Mortimer and also by Phil Sigsworth. Mark Laurie. Langmack the topper.
Mark Laurie's been one of the achievers today for the Eels. He's one of those fellows that doesn't stand out, he doesn't shine, but he hasn't missed a tackle. He's done everything required of him in defence, and when it's been his turn to hit the ball up, he's been there.
Play by Cronin. Lee Beater. Well, it can't be too far distant now before John Mooney decides to bring his 2 props off. Unless, of course, with the week's break, he might let them go with the full distance bill.
Yeah, that'd be more the way to approach it. Let them play the game out unless they're injured.
So Sterling finding the line.
I don't think he'll make any replacements.
All right, 25 metres out. The scrum will go down. Steve Edge, by the way, is the new sales manager come coordinator. In fact, Steve Edge is the new Ron Massey at Parramatta. That job's only a week old for him. Doesn't look like Ron Massey, does he?
No, he doesn't.
A 5 stone too light. Here's Kenny.
Both men have got a very good knowledge of the game.
Now Sterling. Long ball. Muggleton comes to Campbell. He did well, Campbell. He had to leave his wing. There was awful trouble behind him if he misses the tackle. Delroy sweeps it up.
Scores! Chalmers! Thank you.
Great play this by Parramatta. They fired the ball back down the blind side again. It was fielded in the full and just fell down to do the rest.
That would be doing Tony Chalmers the world of good, that feeling that he's got there right now. And all of that. But Gillespie and Folks, those 2 names, they're the ones that come ringing home to me. In favour of Parramatta, you're watching the NEC Big Game major semi-final. Watch Andrew Farrar prepare to get us going. Let's go to Graham on the sidelines.
What is there left to be said about this Canterbury performance? I think you can start talking about next week against Balmain. I don't like Andrew Farrar on the wing for Canterbury Bankstown. I like him in the centre where he can come into a lot more of the play. Michael Hagan for mine, if he's going to be in the first grade lineup, he's not going to be playing 5'8" instead of Terry Lamb. I'd have him at fullback. No bones about it. Steve Folks to come back, Peter Kelly to come back, and the big crunch if he's available for grand final. And if they get there, David Gillespie. It gives them a much more balanced team.
So here's Canterbury winning the scrum, and Terry Lamb dummies to Steve Mortimer. He looked around for Phil Sigsworth, but it was too late, and now it's Tunks who's tackled just inside the 10-metre line. Dummy half is Steve Mortimer.
Away it goes to Terry Lamb, and on it goes to Michael Hagan. Hagan fading across the ground, cut down by Delroy. He's done all right back there today, Delroy. As it's Farah who comes away from dummy half. But much as I might sing the praises of Mick Delroy, I think Sterling would love to see Taylor out there. He doesn't need to be making this many tackles, Sterling. Here's Robinson. That's a turnover. 9-8 the scrums to Parramatta, 5-4 the penalties to Parramatta, and 2 against the feed to Michael Mosley. Balmain and Canterbury this year. I'm just trying to get the statistics out on the two clubs head to head, but
Balmain won both games, and 28-0 was the score in the second round.
And that's the score line here at the moment, with Parramatta leading Canterbury 28-0. Sharpest tackle. It's quite incredible, really. Balmain was sitting back there waiting for next Sunday, and knowing that they might be playing a team that has had the drop on them for a long time now. Parramatta's given them some awful shellackings, and yet they are the team that Canterbury, according to their coach, regarded as the big dangers. Balmain. The penalty to Canterbury is against one of the Parramatta tacklers for being in front of the kicker. That man, Mark Laurie. Incidentally, next Sunday, you'll be pleased to know, we'll have the complete 2-hour coverage of the final. Starting at 6 o'clock, it'll go through till 8 o'clock. And that'll be followed at 8 o'clock by a half-hour preview of the grand final. We'll be able to get some interviews from the players who've competed in the final, which will be between Canterbury and Balmain, of course. And we'll preview the grand final at 8 o'clock next Sunday night, immediately following the 2-hour telecast of the final between the Dogs and the Tigers. Hand out the back for Langmack. They sweep it away to Dunn. But of course, some of these errors that Canterbury are making now are only simply brought about by the fact that they're trailing by such a margin. You wouldn't see them doing this if they were in front. And here's Langmack losing it, and Sharp comes up with it. Parramatta getting some replacements ready, Graham.
Well, Jackson and Casado moving down from the dressing shed out to the sideline. We haven't got who they'll be going on for.
Leabeater. Well, they won't come on for Leabeater and Bugden, Bill, so you can rest easy. I wouldn't be surprised if Cronin is one of them, Graham. Take it.
Kenny and Ella are the boys to come off.
Kenny and Ella, eh? All being played by Delroy. This is Mosley. Sigsworth going back to the 10-metre line. Away from Mosley, and in between Mosley and Ella, Sterling has to chase and make the tackle. Tunks. Terry Lamb. Lamb's inside the 32. Will he go all the way? He lofts the pass out for Andrew Farah, and Canterbury are on the board. 28 points to 4. Terry Lamb set this up by making the break off a short pass from Peter Tunks. Tunks went across. Ella couldn't get him in time, and then Terry Lamb, he sees Eric Groth coming out of his right eye. Watch Groth come into your camera, into your screen. That meant that Farah was unmarked, so he lofted the ball out, and Farah goes into that Paddington Hill corner. 28 points to 4 in favour of Parramatta.
A good try, this one, to Canterbury. I suppose it was only a matter of time before Parramatta made a mistake in defence. Tunks popped up a ball to Lamb, and then it was a bit of tit for tat. Lamb beat Kenny as easily as he'd beaten him in the first half. Lamb couldn't do it on his own. He threw the ball over the top to Farah, and Farah goes in for the consolation.
Just watching Brett Kenny when he came from the field, he went for a long jog down to the trainers who've got the walkie-talkie back to the coach. He's delivered a message to them. Graham's with him now, Brett Kenny. Well, I'm pretty sure he'll talk to Graham. Let's watch the kick from Farah. It left the boot well. It's a goal by Andrew Farah. Nice kick from a wide point.
You guys were telling me at the last game that that fortnight's break was going to be terrific for you going into the semi-final, injury-wise.
Yeah, it was. You know, I feel 100%. You know, I just hurt my ankle a little bit out there today, but I could step all right, and I know Sterling felt a lot better too after the week's break, so hopefully we can have another one next week.
Parramatta weren't going to say no when Canterbury offered you first use of that pretty strong breeze in the first half.
Well, I think what happened, we were going to run against it, and as usual, Price lost the toss, so we had to run with it. I think we were going to run against it if possible.
What's the thinking behind all of this? It's been happening right through the semi-finals.
Well, I don't know. John Maney asked me before the game, said, did I rather run against the wind or with it? And I said, it didn't worry me, so I don't know actually what their thinking was.
Well done today and good luck in the fortnight.
Thanks very much, mate.
Ball coming loose in the play, and Parramatta's Laurie plays it. It's going away to Jackson. Jackson tackle on the halfway line. Billy Johnston is warming up for Canterbury. What's going on down there, Graham?
Well, Billy's made his way out in the field now in 22 for Mark Bugden, and Atkins has moved to the sideline, I believe, to cover Mick Delroy, who's to come off with a bruised forearm.
Laurie getting a pass back for Sharp, but the ball came out the back, and let's see who's got it. It's Mosley who plays it. As it comes away now to Sterling on tackle number 5. Muggleton runs hard and gets the ball to Chalmers. Chalmers puts in the centre kick. Underneath it, though, is Sigsworth, and Sigsworth is tackled there by Casato. So the old brigade, if you can use that word, Kenny and Illa, replaced by their heir apparents or people who certainly will join them in the Parramatta back line in the not too distant future, Casato and Jackson.
Ladies and gentlemen, just as a reminder, please, from the New South Wales Rugby League and the New South Wales.
Robinson plays on the Canterbury 22. 28 points to 6. Parramatta just, well, they're in angel gear now. They're just coasting down the other side of the hill. As Lamb lofts the ball over to Chris Mortimer. Then it goes on to Sigsworth, away to Sandy Campbell. Campbell turns it back inside. That was touched by Parramatta. It should be 6 more. He gives 6 more tackles to Canterbury. Good ruling. Getting very dark at the cricket ground as the people in the outer with no cover, they scurry for the grandstands, and some ominous weather coming up out of the south, and away they go. Tackle was Casato. Now it's Johnston. Langmack away from Mortimer. Out now for Johnston. Billy Johnston and Peter Johnston both out there at the moment. And that's, I think, the turnover, yes. Played by Leadbeater. I know that Parramatta fans will tell you that they came here to the cricket ground today expecting to win by 22 points. But they're probably telling you an official lie. I don't think too many would be brave enough to stand up and say that they expected this match to be won so convincingly by either team. Fair comment, Bill?
Very fair comment, but on what we've seen today, I think we've seen the 1986 Premiers playing, and they're wearing blue and gold.
This is Muggleton. Sterling. His kick. Spot on again. Well, any other of probably 5 players that do that, you say, what a great kick by Billy Bloggs or Fred Merck. But if Peter Sterling does it, you just say, yeah, good kick by Sterling. He just has to keep doing it. He has to live at a very, very high rate of profile, Sterling. So does this bloke feeding the ball, Steve Mortimer. Terry Lamb.
There's a siren. It's over mercifully for Canterbury. All they can think about now is to get on with the job of playing Balmain, and for their sakes, a chance to redeem their reputation against Parramatta here in a fortnight. But from the positive side of it, Parramatta romping away with the major semi-final, 28-6. They scored no fewer than 6 tries. Kenny 2, Chalmers 2, Ella and Laurie 1 each, and Cronin an off day with the boot, kicking 2, but it probably wasn't a day for goal kickers. Farah was the man to put the 6 Canterbury points on the board, but as I said, Parramatta winning by 28-6, and more importantly, by 6 tries to 1.
This is an easy one for you, Mike. How does it feel? What, grand final number 1?
Yeah, it's my first grand final, and I think Terry's. I'm not too sure who else, but it wasn't no easy. The score might have indicated that it was an easy game, but it was no easy game out there, right?
Incredible start that first half. Brett Kennedy's already suggested to me that you might have run into the breeze. The breeze was a great advantage to you.
Yeah, it certainly was. We weren't worried all that much about the breeze. We would have took it either way. We were revved up, and the boys, you know, they proved today, you know, we're a side that can surely win the competition.
What about the fortnight's break? No more worries?
No, we're not all that worried about the fortnight break. We'll train hard. We'll come out revved up as hard as ever again.
Congratulations on getting there.
Thanks very much, Graham.
So there it was, this week of Rugby League. Balmain and South, Parramatta and Canterbury. We'll do it again next week. I'm Ray Warren. Thanks for your company.